Hello everyone, Kay here on my Tennessee homestead, and today we're going to look at how I grew over 200 pounds of sweet potatoes two different ways. So stay tuned. Okay, to start my tale, I am going to be showing you the comparison between how I grew sweet potatoes in my lower garden and how I grew them in my side garden. I mounded up 3 short rows of soil and compost in my side garden with the intention that that was just going to be the beginning of where I would add more rows and more sweet potatoes later. I managed to get those 3 rows planted. I wanted to get it done. It was very hot, and so I got all the plants in, and I'm going to put dates all along, so watch for those dates, and I will identify where I am, which garden I'm in. So as we go along, I'm going to be showing you clips that I took along the way, because I didn't know how anything would turn out. And if you're new to my channel is called Late Bloomer because I started gardening when I started my channel in the beginning of 2012. I premiered my channel on Earth Day in April, but that was the first year I had ever gardened. I was learning everything from scratch. I had lived in the big city for 40 years, in apartments mostly, and then in my house, had a tiny little yard, and I met a biodynamic farmer who made compost, and he just said, take out your grass, plant 2 fruit trees, a lemon and an orange tree, surround them with herbs, and once I did that, I was off to the races. And if you're interested in how I got started, I'll put the link right up there for my very first episode. Okay, so late bloomer, starting late, learning how to garden and farm, and here I am, I'm in my 11th, finishing up my 11th year. I did have year-round gardening, so I had flowers and things growing, edible plants growing year-round in Los Angeles, but here I'm in a seasonal climate. So I am finishing up my 2nd season here, and last year I only grew a handful of sweet potatoes in some cloth pots. So this is the first year I've actually grown sweet potatoes in the ground.
See, it's stuck because it's got all these roots growing through.
I had these little sweet potatoes that I grew from a handful of sweet potatoes that my friend Daryl gave me. They've got white flesh with tan skin, and they were all just little roots. And I grew them in at the end of the season last year in cloth bags. But hey, that is a sweet potato. It can be eaten, therefore it can root, right? So I am taking the advice that people have given me. Rather than doing the toothpick, put them in water and then all those gnats are flying around in the house, or just lay them out in a tray of potting soil, damp potting soil, and cover them up. And put them in a warm place. This is the garage. It never gets below 60 in here. And so I put them up there on the rack and you just wait for them to sprout. The method for the first ones was I started with sprouting out sweet potatoes on the toothpicks in water in jars. That I started in January. So I had to deal for January to February, February to March, March to April. 3 months, these jars of water are getting green and slimy, and I'm changing water, and I'm dealing with gnats, and I'm thinking, wow, what a pain. And then by the time I planted them out, they weren't looking that great. The Vardaman looked better than the ones I started from the store-bought and some of my little skinny ones from last year. Well, the sweet potatoes don't look so good. Some look okay. Let's see. We got some weeds here. I don't know what that is. This one looks good. This one looks good. That one looks okay. This one is non-existent. Okay, not great. Looks good. Okay. Fair. Not great. Not great. Fair, fair, and fair. Okay, we've had a lot of rain, so it shouldn't have anything to do with water. I have not watered anything. Yeah, I was hoping I wouldn't have to with all the mulch. These are mine. They look horrible. This one looks good, but the rest of them look bad. So I started my summer garden this year without any help. And I did all of that initial planting and preparing of beds, the whole onion planting and cabbage and marigolds and the sweet potatoes and garlic. Well, I had garlic growing. There was a lot of things going, but I was doing everything myself. So I was very fortunate to meet my helper now, Randy, who comes once a week and helps me out. And he came in June. On June 4th was his first day, and on June the 11th, we planted sweet potatoes down there. So these two had quite a bit of difference in time. Look at this mat. Holy cow, look at this blanket of roots. How do I divide that up? It's like a saddle blanket. And getting help with the planting. And these are the sweet potatoes, and they look so healthy. Wow. Of course, we're planting in the heat of the day, but there is a breeze. They're going to get a lot of water. This is an exciting moment, the big reveal. And now we have beautiful sweet potatoes planted. The main difference is the way I started the sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes I planted over here, I started in slips. I created slips. I did a video on that. Well, I'll put the link up there. Vardaman was the variety of slips I ordered from Stark Brothers, and I also had some slips from Purple Stokes sweet potatoes that I buy at Sprouts. I covered the whole thing in a thick layer of mulch. The mulch that was actually the hay that was left over from the year before. Somebody wrote me a comment in April, and I do read your comments, so all your helpful comments I take into consideration. Someone wrote a comment and said that they were starting their sweet potatoes in trays of dirt, and it was so much easier. And I thought, wow, you know, I just hated having all those gnats. Randy's second day, after he put the whole electric fence, he planted my sweet potatoes. That one tray filled up 2 long rows of sweet potatoes. Oh, and so here's the big difference down there is I did not have any hay at that time. I could have gone and bought straw, but my tiller had just gotten kind of broken from trying to go through straw left over from last year. So I thought, I don't want to do straw anymore because it binds up the tiller the next year. So I thought, wow, what am I going to use for, and I didn't want to put wood chips because, well, I didn't even have any wood chips at the time. I got all the wood chips later. So I just didn't have any mulch. And so, of course, what happens is you get all of these weeds. I had so many weeds down there. But everything was going great. And I, of course, was dealing with all the other things, the corn failure and the pea success and the okra success. There was just so much to do. I just forgot about the sweet potatoes. And the sweet potatoes are still blooming. Wow, look at that. It's still blooming. In September, so I am not sure when it's going to be done. Probably Johnson grass that's going to seed, so that's going to be a challenge. My mistake was not putting down thick hay in between the rows of sweet potatoes. So we have all of these weeds have invaded the sweet potato patch. So you pull them out now, you risk the sweet potato vines. So they were still blooming in October, so I thought they're not done because I thought it was supposed to be 120 days for sweet potatoes, and it hadn't even been 100. So what happened is the deer jumped my electric fence and cleaned me out. Now, Randy had warned me that they absolutely love sweet potato leaves. And so Daryl had too. He used to have a problem with that. You know, we went through this real drought, this real dry period, and they couldn't stand it anymore. And so they jumped over, and it was like we had weed whacked the entire thing. I came out the next day, and it was like weed whacked. So I was going, oh, do we let them keep growing? I thought they needed more time. But then that day, Randy discovered some of the sweet potatoes were popping up. You know, when you plant them kind of in a little mound and around, they kind of grow up like that, you know, in kind of their own mound. Let's see.
Well, right there it is. And there's another one right here.
Good grief, look at that mound those mounds pushing up.
I'm telling you, they're huge. Look at that potato right there. Ain't that big?
Let me see.
You don't see it? Come on, walk towards me. And turn around and look at the hill.
Oh! Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm telling you.
Well, we need to get that. Good heavens.
Huge.
Oh no, I have to dig it out. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Look at the size of that. Look, here's another one. Golly.
Well, we need to get those out.
Look at them. Oh my gosh.
Should have brought another bucket down here.
I started to. But, oh my gosh. This is all the way up and down there.
Oh my
gosh.
golly. Look at that. That could feed an army. Well, that was my idea. It's still stuck.
You're a kid. Let me dig
No,
it out. I got
you
gloves
got the
on.
gloves on. Now don't scratch it.
I ain't gonna hurt it. You ain't gonna hurt that anyway, as big as it is. It might hurt me.
No, don't cut it.
I ain't going to. Just digging the dirt out.
All right.
I could get it if you want me to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sticking up. It shouldn't be in the sun, right? Is it like potatoes?
I ain't never seen one that big.
Well, you said the soil was good.
I told you, it was huge. I mean, I could tell with the hay you put in it and everything from the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Good gracious, I ain't never seen one that big. Have you ever?
I have never.
I have never seen one. And that's the last you all week.
Pose with that. Yeah, that would last a week, wouldn't it?
would.
Last me a week anyway.
Oh my gosh, I know it's full of them.
Yeah.
Them are ready. I mean, you don't want them all big. Have you ever?
No, I've never seen anything like that.
I ain't never.
Maybe in a, I don't know.
I ain't never. That went to state fire, there ain't no doubt.
Okay, so It looks like I should have harvested these 3 rows of sweet potatoes a month ago because I've got all these new leaves. You know what? These new leaves are going to be great to eat.
Oh yeah, I bet it'd be.
I need to harvest them.
Dry them out or?
No, you cook them fresh, just like you do those
Really?
spinach leaves.
Never had that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
got to be good.
It is good. It's more nutritious than the root. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yep. But clearly I should have done this a long time ago because all of these vines are new. I just ignored this. Look at the size of these purple. These may weigh more than that other big one. Well, no, I don't. That one might. Yeah, I think this one weighs more than that other one. Awesome. And these are, these are the ones I got from Stark Brothers. This is grown out from an organic purple sweet potato I bought at the store. There's got to be at least 30 pounds of potatoes there, don't you think? Yeah.
It probably weighs a pound and a half.
Yeah, okay.
Now this one is a heavy one.
That's like two pounds, right?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so Randy has just harvested all the sweet potatoes, and they're huge. I can't even pull that out. Well, we'll go up here. Some of them are very strange looking.
Aliens.
They're kind of, yeah, I don't think I want to eat those. Like that one.
So that'd be fine.
Wow. They're enormous. What's that? Yeah.
Good thing we got them when we got them.
Yeah, we could just leave this one down here for the moles. It was just one plant there, and all of this was piled up like right around it. These are just very strange. And look at this. Oh my gosh. This one started to get eaten on. And some of these started to sprout a little bit. Well, now I just got to figure out how to store them without a root cellar.
I think some of them's like a white sweet potato when it looks.
They're supposed to all be white, actually. Creamy white, not white white. Some of them are pink and some of them are more yellow or golden, but the inside is all the same, right?
Yeah, they all white.
You're right, the moles are really
Hammering him.
going after it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you feel like eating sweet potatoes anytime, oh man, they were really going after that mound.
Yeah.
Every one of them got nibbled on.
Mm-hmm. Won't hurt them. Cut them out.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
just means we got to eat them now.
Well, yeah, I'd eat them pretty quick. Yeah. You probably put lime over them and just keep.
Well, I've never done anything like that.
It's a hell of a hill. It's the potatoes, wasn't it? Look how many's come out of this hill.
The deeper ones didn't get eaten on. Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did too. Yeah,
Wow,
that's something, ain't it? One hill.
that's
There's
crazy.
probably
You've been growing
15
them
pounds.
15 pounds out of one hill,
Yeah.
and you've been growing them your whole life. You never
Never-
seen anything like it.
Never that big. Nope, never that many. Best soil what there is
Wow.
for sweet potatoes.
Okay, I'm back up with all of the lower garden sweet potatoes. Hey, Tiger. And there was actually quite a bit of, I'm assuming, vole damage. I know they like sweet potatoes. And it was just, we've sort of separated this basket because they're really bad. And some of these others are salvageable. We think they'll heal over. But look at that. That's a really good one. It's got a green spot on it, so that means the sun hit it. Randy doesn't think that's a problem. I always used to think that was a problem. But anyway, he said there's got to be 150 pounds in here. I don't know if that's true, but they're huge. And that weighs at least 4 pounds right there. So anyway, great success. And of course, these are the sweet potatoes from the side garden. Interesting, didn't have all the mole and vole damage, and I had the protectors in both places, so not sure what happened there. Okay. Whew. These are the sweet potatoes from the lower garden. Oh, just so you can see about the size of these. This weighs probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds. And they were all piled up in the wagon, the dump trailer, and both of the tires went flat on the dump trailer. See? That one, and that one are the biggest. That's a close. Anyway, Randy thinks there's probably 200 pounds. I just gave him a big, probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 pounds to take home. And this one's heavy. Ugh. And it was making a little one off the end. So, I'm going to have plenty of sweet potatoes this year. Just have to see if I can keep them stored properly so they keep. Now, what I would do differently is mulch. Oh my gosh. I would never plant sweet potatoes again without 2 thick inches of mulch after I planted them. They still grew and they still developed, and I got a great harvest. But another interesting thing is over here, I did not have one sweet potato that had moles eat voles, I understand. So voles would have done the damage. I did not have one sweet potato over here that had vole damage. But I've got a 7-foot fence around over there, and it's pinned at the bottom. Now, obviously, a vole can go underneath that, but I also have the little vole, those buzzing things, those solar buzzing things that are supposed to detract the underground pests. So I have those over there. I did have it down there too, but my first wire on my electric fence is about that far off the ground, so any little animal could easily go under there. So I don't know, it could have been a groundhog. I don't know what it did, but there was a lot of damage. I'm assuming voles, but there was a lot of damage on my sweet potatoes down here. Fortunately, some of them are like, did I weigh that really big one? I can't remember. That one. These are the things I would do differently. I would absolutely mulch for weeds, and I have to find a better way to protect against deer possibly going over. We've already talked about putting one more electric wire higher up. And then I might actually do some kind of just a stiff fencing down around just the sweet potatoes, because they were inset. Because now, don't forget, your sweet potatoes are going to shoot out these vines, and even though the rows were inset this much, 2 or 3 feet from the fence, they easily shot out from there. So I already knew they were after those because they had cleaned those off just like a weed whacker on the outside of the fence. So you need a lot of space for sweet potatoes. You really do. I had a great success, fantastic success. But mainly I would say it's, you've got to have mulch. And I've got to do a better job of protecting against voles and deer down there. Otherwise, it's just the easiest, most wonderful thing to grow. And I did harvest some leaves, which you can stir fry into dishes, and the leaves are even more nutritious than the roots. So I hope that's interesting. I hope that's educational, that you enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe, come back. I'd love to see you back here again soon. Leave me a comment, and thanks for watching. See you next time.